Call City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Coles. Here. Alderman Shockey.
Here.
Alderman Subak.
Here.
Alderman Winger. Here. Alderman Knight.
Here.
Alderman Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Pizek.
Here.
Alderman Talamy.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. Quorum being present, would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of June 1, 2006?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Bills, Alderman Winger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to approve the list of bills dated June 18th, 2006 for $550,000, $289.41.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question?
Question,
Alderman Wesley?
page 1, James Dennis Association, ex-engineer service, $5,054.13. Could you tell me what extra service that was?
Mr. Holm, do you know the answer to that?
Street improvement.
That was extra work performed as a result of changing the roadway widths. We went from the 25 feet down to the 22 feet, so they had to redo the design plans.
Alderman Winger?
I'm going to amend my motion to invoices due on or before June 15th, 06.
Secondary agrees. Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Coles.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman Subak.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Knight.
Yes.
Alderman Wesley.
No.
Alderman Pizek.
Yes.
Alderman Talamy.
Yes.
That passes. Council, without objection, I'm going to deviate from the agenda and go to Mayor's report and recognize Diana Rona at this time.
I'm here on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and the City of Wooddale for the Joint Scholarship Program. All of the young men and women who received awards were given those awards at a luncheon previously, but we wanted to recognize them and to make everyone aware of the program. Every year between the city and the Chamber, 6 scholarships are given out to graduating students from Fenton, Addison Trail, Driscoll, and Lake Park High School. This year, for the Chamber's portion, we had a fundraiser, a wine tasting event, and it did raise enough to pay for our portion of the scholarships and send $600 to the Bensonville Wooddale Food Pantry. And for everyone who came and supported the event, we appreciate it. On behalf of the Wooddale Chamber of Commerce and the City of Wooddale, we're recognizing 6 members of the 2006 graduating class from Driscoll Catholic High School, Fenton High School, and Lake Park High School. From Driscoll Catholic, we're recognizing Teresa Capelli. Teresa received the Robert A. Barth Scholarship at Driscoll. She was very active in school and community activities. She's a member of the National Honor Society, and she intends to become a doctor. From Fenton, we recognize Agnes Bugay. Agnes has been active in cheerleading and gymnastics. She's been involved in Fenton High School musical productions. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She's an Illinois State Scholar, and she plans to attend law school. Zaharias Fountains is an Illinois State Scholar. He's been active at Fenton in sports and is a member of the National Honor Society. He plans to major in mathematics and become an actuary. Justin Moriarty received the Presidential Award for Educational Achievement. He's been active in sports, having been recognized in the Wooddale Bensonville Press and the Daily Herald. He plans to become a teacher. Lauren Porto has been active in sports and student government. She also was active in chorus. She is an Illinois State Scholar. She's vice president of the National Honor Society at Fenton, and she plans to major in business. From Lake Park, we recognize Alicia Noyes. She's been active in sports throughout her 4 years at Lake Park. She's been on the honor roll all semesters. She plans to attend COD for her basic credits and then go on to a university. All of the recipients were chosen by their representative schools to be awarded these scholarships. The award is based on grade point average, extracurricular activities, and an essay that they submitted. This year's essay was why you would recommend living in Wooddale to other young people. And all 6 of these people, throughout their years in Wooddale, have very strong feelings about community and family and pride in their community from living here. We applaud the accomplishments of all these young men and women, and we wish them every success for the future. Thank you.
And Diana, on behalf of the City Council, thank you and the Chamber for your work and effort on this. I know it's been a lot of hours, but it's well done. Any citizens wish to address the City Council? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address, starting with Mr. Bendix.
Thank you for the opportunity again to speak. This would be in concerns to the 121 South Cedar Street. He's looking for a variance, and I've lived at 109 South Cedar for 11 years. Last week, I was immediately challenged on that, so I just want to clarify I've been there for 11 years. It's my understanding they're going to bring us up again for a vote tonight. They had a vote last week of 4-2 in his favor. I believe that a lot of these people here that are against his variance and purchase and potential building of the second story have issues that are other than his home remodeling. I think their issues are that they believe that their homes are too small, or they might have big house problems where they just can't adapt to it. I'm in favor of him doing what he's doing. I think it's going to do nothing but help the area. I believe that if you don't give him the variance and allow him to do that, a man that's been here for 20 years, you're going to stagnate it. People are not going to want to purchase in that area of Cedar, and you'll have nothing but small houses, low with no potential for sale, and high taxes. Nobody's going to want it. So I'm all for it, and I believe that you should just vote and give him the variance. He's not asking for much. If I understand the math right, it was only a couple of inches. Thank you, and again, good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Bendix. Alderman Gabor?
Hi, the City of Wooddale, Packabor, by the way, 305 South Montclair. The City of Wooddale distributed a survey several months ago and asked whether the residents of South Montclair wanted sidewalks. The results of the survey was an overwhelming 75% against sidewalks. At the last committee minute meeting, the members of the committee voted to install sidewalks despite the desires of the residents. Why are we asked our opinion if you're going to vote for them anyway? Number one, our area is unique. We share our street with a forest preserve. We're divided by school, library, and park districts. North Montclair belongs to Wooddale districts. South Montclair belongs to Bensonville districts. Our tax rate is 6.1439, and the north side is 5.2693. We are almost a percentage point higher. A sidewalk will not connect this area, but further divide it. As far as the Wooddale policy that sidewalks should be installed with street reconstruction, I believe the city should reevaluate this policy. Alderman Talame stated at the last meeting that someone was hit by a car where the residents were given a choice and there were no sidewalks. Why aren't you installing sidewalks where they're needed rather than where they're not wanted or needed? Iroquois Trail is a dead-end street. Montclair may as well be a dead end because it ends at Juniper, does not go through to 3rd Avenue. How many of you have ever gone down our block? The traffic is local. In addition, there's 4 members of this council who are former Stormwater Committee and Environmental Impact Commission members. They should all recognize the negative effects of impermeable structures on the watershed. If I lived on the creek, I would be outraged that the council is adding to the runoff. Have you forgotten the floods of 72 and 87? Wooddale has stated that they have limited funds for street programs. Why are you spending $20,000 on a sidewalk that's not wanted rather than using the money to install a sidewalk in an area that has dangerous traffic? I believe the city should reevaluate their program, conduct a traffic study to determine the areas most in need. Also, I believe you should be looking for alternative materials for sidewalks that allow water to permeate into the ground. Salt Creek Watershed website suggests permeable concrete to reduce the effects of runoff that pollutes our waters, adds to the flooding, causes stream bank erosion, and requires the taxing bodies to spend millions of dollars on retention, stream bank stabilization, and additional storm sewers. I'm currently working with the president of the Forest Preserve to see if we can have a gravel path installed on the Forest Preserve side of the street. This is where everyone currently walks their dogs, and regardless of the sidewalk, if it was installed, they would continue to do so. I would respectfully request that the sidewalk item be tabled until the Forest Preserve Board has an opportunity to evaluate a petition submitted to the Forest Preserve Board by our residents. In addition, I would appreciate if Mr. Subak would assist in the process rather than trying to undermine my efforts to save the city money. Adding a sidewalk on the resident side of the street would be as useless as your bridge over Irving Park Road that nobody uses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Gabor.
Can I make a comment?
Alderman Ptolemy?
Yeah, I would just like to point out that Montclair actually is in the Des Plaines River watershed. It's not in the Salt Creek watershed. That's fact.
Mr. Cadella?
My name is John Cadalla. I live at 286 Forest View. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. Just want to talk about an issue here. I'm concerned over our city's policy regarding parkway trees. I'm not sure who we have on staff who is a qualified person to determine the overall health and ultimate fate of our parkway trees, but if such a person exists, I truly hope that that individual is the one making the final decisions on which trees get an X and which ones get saved. In the past 3 or 4 months, I've seen the following happen within a 5-house span on my street alone. I don't know where else this is going on, but I'm going to start watching. 2 trees at 269 Forest View removed. Large Siberian elms that most likely needed some trimming but didn't need to go away completely. 1 tree right across the street from that at 270 Forest View, marked for removal. I spoke with the mayor. He interjected and got the tree a stay of execution. Tree at 294 Forest View, another large old Siberian elm marked for removal. Same thing. I went to Mayor Johnson's office. I explained the situation. We got yet another stay of execution on the street. So then I went to, then I asked City Services about this on both occasions. Most recently was about 3 or 4 weeks ago I went there. And when asked about, the latest tree, the one over at 290, I think the address is 294, what's going on there, the answer is something like perhaps 50% or more of the crown is dead, or that one may have had an issue with it being too close to the individual's driveway and being a safety concern and blocking a view backing out of the driveway onto the street. And the other item or issue that could have been wrong with the tree is that some dead limbs might have the potential to fall and hurt somebody. Apparently, that's enough to put an X on a tree. Asked how we go about determining what gets an X, and one possibility is that the resident who lives in the property behind the tree would call in saying, I have a tree that I think has a problem, please come out and take a look at it. And what I'm finding, particularly on my street, is often we have people who don't like the large trees, or maybe they're dropping too much dead wood, maybe they're shading too much of their garden, maybe their new recreation trailer that they just bought, they can't make the swing in their driveway anymore, so the tree, which has been there since the beginning of time, is now in the way. Then I asked about our tree replacement policy, because the 2 trees that came down at 269 have not been replaced. And I understand that the city has $20,000 aside annually to replace trees. That last year we used very close to that. However, the ultimate decision to replace the tree does not come from the city. The resident is offered the opportunity to have a tree replaced. Well, if that person didn't want the tree in the first place, they're not going to want it replaced. So now our parkways are not getting replaced with trees. So I think that's a policy issue that needs to be addressed. So basically what I'm getting at here is I would pose the question, or at least have City Council consider addressing the policy of removal and replacement of parkway trees, and make sure that in fact trees that should go down do go down, but are replaced regardless of whether somebody has a flower garden in mind or an RV that is going to have a difficult time swinging in around a tree. Since my meeting with Mr. Holm, he did leave me a message, and he said that a certified arborist would be coming out to address the health of these two trees. I have been busy with work and haven't gotten a chance to call him back and find out what the status of that is yet. However, I see that both trees still do have an X on them. One is now right next to or in front of what appears to be the construction of either a serious remodel or a tear-down rebuild, right next to 270, so that's probably 262 Forest View. My concern there is there's a 6-foot construction fence or a 4-foot construction fence around the property. Heavy equipment has been moved in, and although a lot of trees in that lot have been cleared, I'm sure that there's still room for more, and if somebody sees a big X on a tree right in front, I can see a mistake easily happening. So if the arborist has come out and has said that these trees still have some life left in them and that tree is in fact going to be saved, I'd love to see a can of brown spray paint real soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cadell. I'll add a discussion of your concerns to the next streetscape agenda. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Deborah Speeden. I live in 216 Hiawatha, Wooddale. Good evening, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. And I understand that gentleman talked about the improving neighborhood. And I like to improve. I'm not against that. We should improve our cities and our neighbors, and I see this in country everywhere. But as I explained last time, that black neighborhood, 75% seniors, include myself. And maybe other people better than my situation. I assume I understand that. But as my situation is a fixed income, and it's very concerned about the increasing tax. I understand population, we try to improve our lives and surroundings. We have to pay tax, and city need money, so improve, so people get, city gets more money, county gets more money, and city look nice, and a town looks nice, and my neighborhood blocks look nice. But like I explained the last couple of times, if I tell you specifically that Montrose and south side of Montrose and Cedar, the south side, Montrose south side of that, from that section, a few homes like my home, ranch houses, most bi-level homes, 2-story homes, few 2-story homes. Most as you know, rent the bi-level homes, and they are about 40 years old, and they are sound foundation are sound good. Of course, they say natural settling. They say like I heard, and I'm also my house has a couple cracks we fixed, and just little cracks, not bad, and we fixed, and then I believe all foundations and houses are all looks nice, and I see Montrose and north side, and then the central over there, now it's booming. Of course, behind our block and next block they have the Bacon Rat they built. Should be built bigger, so they built bigger home. And so the north side of Montrose are older than our homes, and I like also improve their sections. Of course, they like me. Some are very worried about going up taxes, and somebody cannot build the two-story new homes. I understand that, but in fact, that section homes are not older than our homes. Also, Montrose, the central Montrose and central, their sections are some homes. I know old homes. They large lots. They divided two homes they are building. That's why I talked about the same thing. I worry about my tax, my situation. So, but last time my meeting, I felt city, how much I talked, I don't think the aldermans, anybody's, maybe I misunderstood maybe, but.
Ma'am, could you please bring it to a conclusion?
Okay.
You've been over 5 minutes so far.
Okay. One more. Okay. Didn't concern about my situation, the tax rates about who lives there, didn't care about. Also, one more thing, if they call addition, if this is passed, like my home is a one-story home, the foundation, if foundation strong enough, then without the supporting foundation, if you can build the two-story homes there, I like to know it. So future, if I have to put addition without the extra foundation, if I can build up, that I like to know. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone else wish to address? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Martha Yakini. I live at 115 South Cedar, right next door to the Navoas. I feel that there are 20-year residents, as long as their plan has been submitted and approved and was within the ordinances, that they should be allowed to expand their home and stay in Wooddale.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone else wish to address the city? Mr. Drennan?
I'm Patrick Drennan. I live at Hiawatha and Cedar. I'm here because it seems like last time there was some question. Some people thought, the nayes thought I said nay, and the ayes thought I said aye. So I thought I'd better come here and maybe try to clear that up a little bit. Now, first of all, I'm a realtor, and I'm a member of the DuPage Board of Realtors. And one of the things you have to do is you have to say, I'm going to treat everybody fair and square, religion, sex, whatever. Everybody gets a square shot in all matters, not just in the matters of real estate. So, back to what we're talking about here today. First, I want to congratulate the City of Wooddale for having a zoning board of competent people who have spent a lot of time studying the issues, and that board decided that they would vote this issue down 6-0. So, it's back here for another look. So, it's okay with me if they have another look. I think that if Novoas will alter their plans to fit into what the zoning board can accept, I have no problem with that. So all they have to do is get the thing back within the scope or within the boundaries of what Wooddale would have allowed 1 year ago or 6 months ago or something like that. We can't keep changing the zoning laws because people have a plan of some type. Okay? Okay. Is done, is done.
Thank you, Mr. Drennan. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Patricia Stoll, S-T-O-L-L. I live at 145 South Cedar in Wooddale, same place I lived a week ago. I frankly don't believe, well, I haven't come across anyone in the neighborhood who is against the Novoas improving their property. What seems to be the problem is how they are improving the property. It's one thing to improve the property and improve the neighborhood as well, meaning the house blends in, it meets a code that raises the bar for any future improvements that any of us would choose to make to our homes by meeting the new code. That's all anybody's asking. As I said last week, I live in the only true two-story house in the block. We moved into that house Valentine's Day, 1970. When we bought the lot and decided to build here, we looked at the houses around us, and to us anyway, we recognized that a neighborhood is not just the homes where you can have a tent in one lot and Trump Towers on the next lot. It isn't houses. A community in a neighborhood is people. People living together with some common bond. In our neighborhood, it was because it was a middle-class neighborhood. When we decided on how we would fit into the neighborhood, we talked to our neighbors. There were the Shortinos. Some of you on the board maybe know some of their children who have grown up and moved on. The Bakkens, the Panagakases, and a couple whose names I have forgotten, I have to admit. But we also took a look at the property and how we could situate the house on the property and limit the size to 19.5 feet so that it didn't tower over the existing ranches, and split levels, tri-levels being the highest, that predominate. We were the last house on the block in that whole area, and we made an attempt to blend in. The hope has been that in some way the Navoas would do this, but everyone to his own thing. That brings the next issue of you have a choice, you as a group. You can either kind of dumb down the building code for our neighborhood for the future by allowing a variance that frankly I'm having a hard time, and so are others, understanding how this is a hardship to put this house up and meet the current variance requirements. This does not seem to be a hardship. This was discussed in depth by the zoning committee, and they didn't seem to see that this was a hardship. This seemed to be more of a convenience. And I have submitted pictures that really suggest that the foundation of the existing house will have to be reinforced in order to hold 2 stories for the amount of work that's being done and the benefit that it would bring to the community, meaning the rest of the homes that in the future would face their own improvements. I'm asking you, meet the current variance code of 7.5 feet. There is no reason to believe that this would prohibit, at the very least prohibit, the Navoas from going ahead with the plans as they exist.
Ma'am, your time has expired. You're going to have to wrap it up.
That's it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address the city council this evening? Yes, sir.
My name is John Zatko. I live at 127 South Cedar. I live to the south of the Navoas. I have to apologize to the gentleman. I believe he said to me he knew the Navoas for 1 year and 9 months and not lived here, so I guess that I was wrong there. This house here doesn't really belong in the neighborhood, but if they have, everybody buys their piece of land